Round 5 is done and dusted. Easter is over, you're probably full of chocolate and you now need to burn it off like I do. I needed to burn a lot of fat off before Easter even started, but I digress. 6 key things that we have learned out of round 5. Lots of talking points. Dragons fans, I think you're gonna like number 6. We're so close to 2,000 subscribers and it does mean that more people can reach this content. So please, if you can do me that small favor, take 5 seconds and hit that subscribe button. Now let's get straight back to the video. Alright, number 1, end the competition. The Penrith Panthers are invincible. Now, Arsenal in the English Premier League in the 2023-2024 season were dubbed the Invincibles because they went the regular Premier League season without conceding a defeat. I think this Penrith Panthers team has every possibility of being the Invincibles of the National Rugby League in the modern era. The way that they dismantled the Melbourne Storm 50-10 was mind-blowing. Something that none of us would have had on our bingo cards or on your score sheet or in your tipping competition. Mitch Kenny was missing, so I actually thought that that actually brought up a more even playing field and that we might even see a Melbourne victory. How wrong I was. This Penrith Panthers team is unbelievable. Full credit here needs to go to Dylan Edwards. He was the star performer. He had over 243 metres run. He had 1 try. He had 1 line break assist, 2 try assists, 4 tackle busts, a complete performance by the current New South Wales number 1 jersey. And if this performance is anything to go by, that number 1 jersey is going nowhere. Stop the debate around Dylan Edwards. Stop the debate on Nathan Cleary. End the competition right now, because as far as I'm concerned, we're wasting everybody's time. Number 2, gives Manly a new manager bounce. Hamali Alakuatu was absolutely dominant against the poor old Dolphins. He scored a try himself. He ran for over 272 metres. He had 2 line breaks. He had 1 try assist. A complete performance by the Manly destructive back rower. And it was actually Jamal Fogarty's best game in a Manly shirt as well. And it just shows that new manager bounce is definitely a thing. The thing with new manager bounce is this level of performance we see is normally not sustained. You might see 1, 2, 3, and maybe even 4 good performances, but there always is a come down, and that will be the test for the Manly Sea Eagles. Kieran Foran had them playing above their potential. I don't think that that level of performance is something that Manly can sustain. But if they do play more games like the way that they did against the Dolphins, then they're every chance of finishing in the finals, which is crazy to think about only a week ago. And it just shows, though, what a difference 1 week can make, what a difference 1 coach can make. And we're going to get to some more coaches in just a moment. Manly have a really good opportunity here. In their next 3 games, they've got the Dragons, the Cowboys, and the Eels before running into the Penrith Panthers, so they'll lose there. But this is a good opportunity for Manly to get some wins on the board and climb up the NRL ladder. Number 3, Cameron Ciraldo faces his greatest challenge. After back-to-back losses, Cameron Ciraldo is under some pressure for the Bulldogs. Not under pressure in terms of his job, but pressure to turn around the results. The Bulldogs versus the Penrith Panthers on Thursday night, and here's a stat for you. The Bulldogs haven't lost 3 games in a row since round 27 in the 2023 season. So it's been a long time since the Bulldogs have gone on 3 losses in a row, but with the prospect of the Panthers, I can't see the Bulldogs getting a victory. So, with that being said, now the last time the Bulldogs lost 3 games in a row, they didn't make the top 8. It's a bit too early to rule the Bulldogs out of finals contention, of course, but what is clear is there are lots of questions heading into this game, and Cameron Ciraldo needs to make some big calls. Whether that's dropping big-name players, introducing and blooding some young players, particularly in the forwards, bringing in an exalted player in Bronson Xerri, or dropping some of your more seasoned forward players. The Bulldogs will benefit a lot from Leo Thompson and Harry Hayes due to return at any given week, hopefully as soon as this week, but the noise around the misfiring spine isn't going away anytime soon. Between Connor Tracy, Matt Burton, Lachlan Galvin, Sean O'Sullivan, Bailey Hayward, not a single try assist was registered, not a single line break assist was registered between those 5 players. And I'm going to bring Sean O'Sullivan into this conversation, a little bit unfairly, granted. But the point is, there is a lack of creativity in this team. The way the team is setting up is not ideal, and I don't think that they're playing to their spine players' strengths. We've even got the number 7, who should definitely be in the number 6 shirt. And I think unfairly, Lachlan Galvin's getting scrutinised because he's being asked to do a job that he's not fit to do. Cameron Ciraldo has some big decisions to make over the next few weeks, and he can make those changes as soon as the Panthers. Will he? Time will tell. Number 4, inconsistent Warriors. Same old, same old. After starting with 3 really convincing and strong victories, the New Zealand Warriors have reverted back to their old inconsistent selves. Over the last 2 games, they've conceded 68 points between the West Tigers and the Cronulla Sharks. It's not good enough. Granted, I know that the Warriors have had a few injuries, but defense is all about attitude. They're missing Kurt Capewell, granted, and that is a State of Origin caliber player. They've been missing Mitch Barnett, but Mitch Barnett was also missing at the start of the season when they're going to take the Penrith Panthers to the sword. So I don't really think that that's an excuse for the Warriors. What is worth noting is that since Luke Metcalf has come back into the team, the Warriors' attack doesn't look as fluid and they're now losing games. Now, that's not to say Luke Metcalf is to blame for that, but this is always the risk that you see coaches take when you have a high-performing team, but you want to bring in a big-name player into such key positions like 5'8" or halfback. And I just have to wonder, has it upset the balance of the New Zealand Warriors just that little bit? In any case, there's no excuse. Poor defense, and as much was noted by Andrew Webster, the coach, the Warriors need to bounce back next week if they have any dreams of playing finals football, because while on paper this team could finish as high as top 4, we know that the Warriors are as inconsistently capable as finishing as low as 14. Number 5, Flanagan has to go. The Illawarra Dragons are the only side that remain winless so far in the 2026 season. And it's not just that they're losing, it's the manner in which they are losing. The players seem disengaged. The coach is making baffling decisions. As you know, I like to look at data. The data says that no single Dragons interchange forward played more than 23 minutes. What is Shane Flanagan doing? He's not allowing his existing forwards to get a break, and granted, the likes of Leilua and Coachman were really good. But then there are other players who simply aren't carrying their load. They're not making meters, they're not making effective tackles, they're making errors, they're not making supporting runs. And it's killing the Dragons. On top of that, their backline is just very underwhelming, for a lack of a better term. Clint Gutherson tries his heart out, and I'm not going to be one to say Clint Gutherson should be dropped. Maybe he needs to be moved into the centres. I think there's some benefit to doing that. I'm not sure I see him as a number 6, as some people have suggested. But there's a lot of question marks there. And ultimately, Shane Flanagan is not getting a tune out of this Dragon side. I don't think that anyone expected the Dragons to be in the top 8, but I don't think people expected them to be losing 32-0 to the North Queensland Cowboys either. And when you put into perspective that Shane Flanagan continues to pick his son every single week. I know Kyle wasn't there this week due to injury, and again, I don't want to single out Kyle Flanagan here, but Kyle Flanagan is not a first-grade caliber player. The Dragons have enough quality and depth in their halves, including last season when their New South Wales Cup team was absolutely flying, to look at other options. But between the clear nepotism, the poor results, poor game management, and inconsistency of their performances, and let's not forget the downplaying of their credentials to start the season, the constant complaining to referees to defend his poor team performances because he can't motivate them. I hate to say it, and I'm not one to call for coaches' heads, but clearly, Shane Flanagan, it's time to go. The Dragons can learn a lot from Manly here. It might be a good opportunity to bring in an old Dragons boy who's got the respect of the squad, who understands the St. George Illawarra Dragons, so they can see themselves bounce back up the ladder. I think the Dragons are too proud of an NRL competition. We need the Dragons to be performing well. And number 6, Ricky Stewart is a protected species. Here's the controversial one to finish the video on. Ricky Stewart has had 1 win out of 5 games. Ricky Stewart has made the finals 4 times in 12 years as the Canberra Raiders coach. Has anyone seen an article in 2026 about Ricky Stewart and his job being under pressure? I'll sit here and wait. You tell me. Ricky Stewart is a protected species. He's got friends in the media who constantly protect him or don't bring up his name, and they focus on other coaches. Todd Payton was a dead man walking a few weeks ago. 2 wins later, everyone's forgotten about it. But as soon as the Cowboys lose their next game, that noise will come right back on. The Canberra Raiders, after finishing minor premiers, went out in back-to-back losses and are now looking a shoo-in for a bottom 4 finish with one of the most talented squads in the NRL. There is no excuse for Ricky Stewart to be dishing out the level of performances that he's getting out of this Canberra Raiders side. We just alluded to earlier, the Dragons don't look motivated. The Dragons don't look like they're hungry for results. Manly didn't look like they had any desire. They changed the coach, the results changed. I think it's time to have a serious conversation about Ricky Stewart. And there you have it. There are the 6 things that we've learned. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? No problem. Get those comments in. Always happy to have a healthy debate. Look for me at your next NRL game where I'll be interviewing the fans. I spoke to some Bulldogs fans after the loss against the South Sydney Rabbitohs if you do want to check that out here. Enjoy your rugby league, and I hope you've had a great Easter. Get out of here.